I do have a comment. One comment saying.
What channel? Alright, it says it's live.
Okay, my mic is going through.
Alright,
Audio
it says
output
it's live.
capture. It's going. Okay, cool. My mic is going through.
Alright,
Audio
it
output
says it's
capture.
live.
Alright, here we are. Welcome to my Mike's going versus Bachelor Party.
Alright,
Audio
it
output
says it's
capture.
live.
Alright, here we are.
We started late, so that is, if for anybody who's confused, that is why VAH does not have two of their bans, because they were forfeited as a result of the game starting late.
Yeah, so
but here we are, the double Nate cast, the legendary cast you have all been waiting for.
Yeah,
the real Nate, aka me, and Fudgy, the other Nate.
The real Nate. So, just looking really quick at the bans, it looks like Bachelor Party took care of Echo and Set, who are two OP picks, as well as Kaisa, who's kind of out of meta right now, but probably good for one of the players on VA. Honestly, haven't looked at the team comps yet, kind of doing this impromptu. And VA banned out Yasuo, which is kind of a pick Bear Jr. is known for on Bachelor Party. The first picks we're seeing here is a first pick Olaf, really strong in the meta jungle right now. So a good first pick, not really revealing too much about any strategy that VA's going for. And Bachelor Party picked up Soraka and Jarvan the fourth. Soraka could go support, but she's been seen more in the recent meta in the top lane and the mid lane. So I wonder if someone on Bachelor Party has practiced that. And Jarvan the fourth, obviously going to the jungle, most likely. Otherwise, the top lane for him. And it looks like.
But if we see the Soraka, with the Soraka coming out, though, it's incredibly important that we get some sort of consistent DPS carry along with it. Otherwise, that pick becomes significantly less impactful.
Right, it's kind of interesting because I've seen her used as sort of a prop up to a funnel strategy more recently than I've seen her just used sort of as a strong solo lane. So see how that Soraka itemizes. It could be really interesting this game, I think.
Yeah, she's more of like just kind of like trying to insert not necessarily lane dominance or a pressure point across the map, more of just, you know, getting some gold on a really heavy utility champion and letting them like make sure that one of your ADCs just and characters as well as your team just doesn't die.
Bachelor Party here going for the Rakan pick is kind of interesting without having the Xayah pick ready. Rakan's typically just been a little bit unfavored this meta compared to an option like Nautilus who's available. So kind of interesting to see. And Va might just use a ban on Xayah to make sure they don't get that like stronger lane combo. It's really strange to kind of see that pick come out and the last pick of round 3. We'll see if Va takes advantage or maybe the bait and uses a ban on Xayah.
So the Senna pick is definitely good that it was picked up by Va because Senna is a champ that is, you know, well associated with the Soraka pick, because those two champions together just makes it really difficult for, you know, anyone to die on your team, because there's Senna serves as almost kind of like a refresher to the Soraka, because Soraka will use her health to heal other people and Senna will just heal up the Soraka.
Right, and I think she complements the other two picks there really well, just providing that pseudo stealth as well as a move speed buff to Olaf and Leona, giving them some nice engage options off of that team comp, as well as ways to keep Olaf alive. Senna also just dealing incredible burst damage, so that Soraka and Rakan may not be issues in the late game.
And it's also kind of interesting because while people tend to associate Senna with just like super heavy scaling stats like range and crit and attack speed from her shadows, she actually has pretty tough time in team fights dealing consistent DPS. She's much more of a in lane, just kind of siege down towers and poke out champions before an actual fight breaks out. So if the pick team is able to actually use Jarvan and Rakan to engage a fight before some of those pokes and bursts come out, uh, Senna will have a difficult time.
So Batch of the Party ends up going with Aphelios, even though Vi opted to not ban Xayah at all. I think that's just really interesting from Batch of the Party. I think they should
I
have
think
probably
Aphelios
gone...
is better than Xayah here.
I agree,
honestly.
but if they weren't going to go Xayah, I would have 100% picked that Nautilus there. He's just so much stronger than Rakan at this moment. Maybe they're just not comfortable on that champion.
It's also just kind of Justin's like main champion is the Rakan, so giving him some comfort pick and strong engage along with the Jarvan is something probably they're more familiar with than the Nautilus.
True, yeah. I think it would have been nice this week if they know they're not going to do it to try and practice that up. But their con still going to be impactful this game. There's a lot of dive on this comp for Senna. There's a lot of ways to stop these champions. Let's see what that thresh pick actually is. That's a Sona.
It's a Sona.
Interesting.
Okay, so it's very interesting. So it's probably going to be a Sona versus Soraka top potential we got going on here.
Yeah.
Where it's the battle of the supports up in the top lane, and honestly, I think the Soraka, as proven by Wonder, is honestly the better pick. Wonder was practicing up the Sona top for weeks, and we were expecting to see it, and he ended up picking the Soraka, and now we are here where it's made its way into NA, as well as Wonder's picked it twice and is undefeated on the champion.
Right. This is all just. I think this is a super interesting comp coming out from both teams, trying to take advantage of some of this new meta sort of support tops, just as well as I think they're both kind of a hodgepodge of champions, but if you look a little bit closer, they work pretty well together as far as what they want to do. Leona, Senna, and Veigar sort of making up the core of VAH's team comp, being just that CC engine that's going to catch people out, have massive team fight potential, as well as picking up the Sona there and giving that team the shields and everything. I'm gonna lower my volume on League really quick. This is loud as heck.
And Veigar actually does a phenomenal job of stopping BP's engage with the Jarvan and Rakan. That baby cage is gonna stop them right in their tracks and have some significant potential to catch some people out while sieging as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of options on that team comp to stop the Katarina from doing a lot. I mean, they have so much CC on that comp that they can hold an ultimate, a Q,
the Sona, the Leona, just
Veigar, yeah,
lots of options.
Plenty of options to deal with Cat. So we'll see if Cat's able to kind of capitalize on her team's Wombo comp. It's basically, does Bachelor Party get their Wombo combo off before VAH is able to kind of return the CC and block them out? Does VAH...
I will say both teams have some significant Wombo potential. A solid Sona ult on top of a Senna ult with like a Veigar W right on top of you is just going to blow up the entire team pretty much instantly. And same thing for BP. It's just kind of, they're both definitely going to be wanting to death ball 5-man. Neither team has any significant split pushers that are going to be setting up in outside lanes. So it's really going to be about these pressure points around objectives, proper warding. And the one thing I will say is I would say VAH's team has more pick pressure for individual carries. So if Soraka steps up too much, or if Aphelios steps up too much and is caught walking somewhere they shouldn't when they don't have vision, the ability for just a quick Senna route, or a Leona E in and just them blow them up without the fight actually coming out and forcing like a huge commitment is probably much stronger than the other team here.
Right, and I think this game is shaping up to be a really swingy game based on who takes the early game, because it's really going to matter. Both of these teams have plenty of good engage options. I mean, Leona, Jarvan, Rakan, Sona, it's all great engage options. So which team here is going to get ahead is going to have a lot of say as to what happens on the map and where they end up fighting. Um, but it can also be swung back by any sort of pick potential that both teams have. Right now, just looking at the comps and the champions that are picked, who are you giving the advantage to?
I'm actually gonna give it to VAH. I was thinking I was gonna give it to BP, but I think honestly the thing that swung it for me is the Katarina. I think Vigar is in a much better place than Katarina, and based on the just amount of CC that VAH has, Katarina is gonna have to play these fights near perfectly to actually have much of an impact outside of lane. And it's really going to be on the onus of Bear to really roam a significant amount as well as just play team fights like near perfectly. Whereas Vigar, all he has to do is just not waste his E and press R on somebody, and he's going to have more impact than Katarina.
True. I mean, I'm looking at both these teams. I agree with your points about them being a little bit dependent on the Katarina pick. I still think that early game, the edge is there for Katarina. Um, just
So she so she definitely can get ahead for sure.
She has the potential. She's taking Ignite. She's gonna go aggressive. I think I think Katarina and knowing the players that are there, Bear Jr. versus Lugo, I think Bear just will have a little bit more of that X factor on the Katarina, which is a little bit more maybe skill expressive than Vigar can be at times. I think Bear's going to have the edge in that matchup, and I think that Katarina is going to get ahead. So
I wouldn't sleep on Lugo though. I mean, like Lugo is a really solid mid laner as well. I think he knows how to properly space against a Katarina, and really at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Because Vigard doesn't have to win this lane, Katarina does, and if he plays like that, where he just safely farms up, sacrifices some CS while just landing his Q poke as much as he can, as well as just picking up the stacks, he's gonna outscale. And even if he doesn't get a crap ton of stacks in lane, his baby cage, like I said earlier, is a really strong ability to stop down a Rakan engage and a Jarvan engage and just really make what BP wants to do much more difficult.
I'm going to disagree with you on one thing. I don't think Katarina has to win this lane. I think Katarina has to push this lane. And I think that champion has a better capability to push when compared to Vigar, especially in the early stages where mana management is kind of going to be a problem for Vigar. Vigar, if you're queuing every minion, if you're trying to just clear with W, like get that backline clear, maybe go for a catch or two, you're going to run out of mana by about level 5, level 6 maybe. You'll be pretty low. And you'll have to recall.
So definitely, we're gonna definitely have to watch for these scuttle skirmishes, because we definitely expect Katarina to get there quicker.
Right, I think Katarina's going to get there quicker. She has the gap close, and I think that the bot lane, as far as the advantage in the early game, is also going to go towards BP, simply because it's Aphelios versus Senna. I know Leona's in a good spot, better spot than Rakan, but Aphelios does so much damage early. He has 2 really strong abilities starting at level 2, and he scales up in lane just by himself. He doesn't have to go by.
And depending to add to that point, depending on which gun he has, he can also really provide a lot of lockdown to help the Rakan engage guarantee, and as well as the Katarina engage. So definitely a strong target there in the bot lane. And Senna, being the immobile character that she is, definitely gonna be explosive down there for sure.
I think if Katarina's able to roam it and Jarvan's able to focus the bottom lane, they're going to have a good time. I do think there's a risk, though, on the side of BP of that Soraka being just engaged on by Olaf. Olaf doesn't care about a silence field. He doesn't care about a little bit of a slow. Olaf could easily run that Soraka down, especially with the Sona speed buff in the top lane. So we'll see how that's going to go, which side the junglers are going to favor, and how many roams that Katarina gets off, because I think that's really going to end up deciding how this match is going to go for these two teams.
Yeah. I think we both agree. It just kind of, at the end of the day, it comes down to how well Bear can play this Katarina, and if I think the easier team, the easier execute is definitely on VAH's side. I think they don't have to play it as perfectly and as well as BP.
I agree. Just to level set, let's get this timer set up for us. So we just got into spectate.
Yep, I'm at 0 seconds right now.
Yeah, it's just chilling for me for a little bit.
Yep.
I'm gonna speed it up, see if that helps any.
All right, mine started.
Okay.
Are you at 5 seconds?
6
seconds? 7? Or they
pause.
pause? Are you
4,
pause at 6 then?
3,
3,
2, 1. Unpause.
Yep.
Pause.
Okay.
Okay, it looks like people are having issues with microphones in the game, so we'll wait while they.
All right, we're at the same time, but I have to use the restroom real quick. I'll be back.
Okay. I will just solo cast, which is an extremely dangerous thing to allow me to do. So, so let's see how chat's doing. I'm gonna bring it up. I only have one. The caster mic is quiet. Let me buff up some volumes here. Can you guys tell me what's good? Go here. Probably my mic. There is my mic. Is my mic okay, chat? Give me that yes, thumbs up, thumbs down.
How many people are in
Okay.
chat?
Looks like we got Nishar just joining here. We have me and Nisha. Okay. My mic's quiet.
One person.
Okay.
Yikes.
I'll keep leaning in and I'll make sure that it's a little bit better. I'm talking a little quietly. Back to the game. All right, 21 seconds in. Looks like the teams are running out for a standard start. VAH is going towards the bottom lane, stacking in a brush. It looks like, and BP is kind of running down, just gonna sense out their jungle.
It looks like it's gonna be a late invade coming out of BP though.
BP, they spotted Jarvan on a ward already. Let me bring up. I gotta figure out how to bring up this interface. Scoreboard. Okay, let's go back to this. So there's the scoreboard for everyone. No, it looks like there's just this pretty standard 5-point going on from BP. No real slick engage going on. I think it's smart just because OP Senna's level 1 is much better than Aphelios's, and she can really cause a lot of swing in these early fights. So especially with that heal.
For sure. And so one thing I'm not sure a lot of people picked up on is actually a really interesting strat that a lot of junglers are doing nowadays is you saw Theatrics. They did this kind of like a little bit of a delayed invade to get that red ward on the Raptors, which allows them to track MyA. You see when he gets to his Raptors and which direction he decides to head, either to his Krugs or towards his top side. And then he recalls and goes and picks up a sweeper, so he can, sweep through the jungle and make sure that his path is clear, and maybe even pick up a ward kill and put down some vision as a result of it.
Yeah, that's an interesting path. I mean, it also is really efficient because Krugs are so good right now.
So we got an early gank coming in.
Yeah.
So he's already got the red buff going. So it looks like Frontlash is probably going to have to flash this.
Frontlash won't flash. He didn't flash. He flashed
the delayed banana coming in and securing that kill.
That's a rough death.
Yeah. He was pretty much dead the moment he had that red buff stacking on him, because even if he flashed, the Jarvan held his EQ, he would have just immediately followed up and they would have lost it there.
A good level 2 engage coming in the bot lane. Garrick7 doing a lot of damage to Rafal. Getting that auto off, taking down, and it looks like Rafal barely escapes with their life. They're going to use all their pots there. I mean, that's a lot of pressure gone from this OP Rafal. Oh my god, Beatrix invade. Just all action, flash over the wall, Maya doing some auto trading with Beatrix.
Oh, but he gets it!
Beatrix dies to Maya.
Oh, but the tower shot! Oh, the second tower shot! Oh no, better!
Doesn't have
oh, but he flashed back in, Ludo!
Dude,
this is a crazy early game, and oh my goodness, Frontlash is trying to fucking solo out Chocobo, but I think he's not going to be able to get this.
There's a Dark Harvest.
Non-stop action, the DK is coming out of the bot lane again. Oh my goodness. This game is high fee.
PogChamp, it's already 3-1. We're outpacing kills per minute right now.
Gotta love that.
So the result of that, 2 kills over to Soraka, 1 kill over to Katarina, and 1 kill over to Olaf. So that gives a slight jungle advantage over to VAH, and a strong top and mid lane advantage over to...
The thing that's funny about this is it's only 400 gold difference. We have 2 kill advantage, just 600 gold, the other only 400 gold difference.
What's the button I pressed to check the gold? 10 or something?
The gold?
Yeah, gold difference. N's really convenient. I'm leaving that up there. That's sweet.
What is N?
N actually shows the timers for all the things. But there's some action going on in the bot lane, a bunch of flashes blown, but no kills. So I'm bored and I don't care.
It's X. X shows you gold.
X shows gold. Okay. Yeah, we're seeing about... Oh.
So it's about 300 gold difference on Amaya, but he's playing a little bit too aggressive without knowing where the support's at. I mean, nothing's going to come of it, but that could have been pretty dangerous.
Right, and let's see,
And see,
500
this is what I was talking about with that Soraka top having an advantage over Sona. I mean, not only does she have the 2 kills, but Sona also decided to opt into the support item, which is just not what you want to see. It just really dips into your gold generation and really is going to cause some issues.
Maya just
Soraka
getting caught
just
out
gonna
there.
normal.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him, but they had the vision around that scuttle crab and just were able to get a clean kill there. This is going rough for Frontlash top lane. I don't know if you can see it. I'll bring it up right now. There's a huge freeze going on. Clumsy Chocobo is just going to sit here, get all this farm, and Frontlash is just going to have to walk back. There's nothing he can do. This is really good wave management from Clumsy Chocobo. I'm really impressed.
Is going to gain a level advantage. He should gain a CS advantage, and you know, with he hasn't even backed yet. He's probably going to come back with, you know, I would assume, you know, the cooldown magic item as well as the first part of the chalice.
Right.
You know,
already you see a dragon being taken by the side of VP. They're pressing their advantage. They're not letting up at all. Clumsy Chocobo.
And also
so
just a fun little thing that Chocobo did there too. Also just about the wave management is he ruined it there, but he made sure to harass Frontlash by throwing his Q away from the wave to make sure that it wasn't being shoved. But now Clumsy Chocobo seems to think that this is gonna, you know, it's a good idea to shove it back into him. So he's building up a slow.
He wants the
push
CS
here,
advantage, I think, so that the trades go a little bit better. Because he's having a little bit of trouble right now. That's what it looks like. He's also just his wave management's good, but his CS is not.
Yeah, CSing with Soraka is a little bit wonky at first.
Go into practice tool.
Oh, but okay, so Bear just hit 6 off that wave, which may be able to help him out.
I don't think Bear has this. His jungler's nowhere to be found, and that's ultimate.
And the shutdown with Lugo. That's a lot of gold as well as the stats.
Yeah, it actually looks like the gold is dead even now in mid lane, and only going to go a little bit stronger for Vigar as he farms up. Again, Bear Jr. did not do a great job of farming here in this mid lane. I mean, probably just having trouble in the range versus melee matchup and being careful of the jungler, but you know, there's something to be said. There's a lot of CS deficit going on right now across all of Bachelor Party except the top lane. Even top lane could be a little bit bigger, just hitting those 4 or 5 CS we saw missing from top. I mean, that lead, that's, you know, a couple hundred gold you miss out on, and it might be a complete item later down the line. Good engage from Tiziable.
A little bit of a troll pull back there. Ended up giving the double root instead of just a single root onto him, but nothing gonna come of it without any sort of follow-up from Leona.
Easy boy getting like a vision control down. It looks like the vision on both sides are focused on opposite sides of the map. Oh man, Easy boy missed and just is taking a lot of damage. The follow got pulled in, didn't have the Q for follow-up. There it is. Opie just seems like he's a little far back from these fights in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I feel like he can play a little bit more aggressive here, especially when Greg just got stunned and there wasn't any sort of auto follow-up from OP.
Well, maybe he's just being cognizant of the fact Greg just hit 6. There's a big wave
definitely,
there.
It was definitely before 6,
Yeah.
and you know they had the brush to play around that could have prevented them from just taking a bunch of aggro.
Yeah, it's the big wave. You don't when you're
Definitely,
an AD,
definitely not saying all in there, but there's definitely
No.
some misdamage. That's
yeah, some trading that could have happened that eventually didn't. I agree. So let's see. Looking at the jungle pathing, Jarvan's going into his top side to find absolutely nothing. So
and
maybe,
we see her front lash going for a tier, and it's almost, you know, this is, I think, at the end of the day, like, kind of why I think Soraka is so much better is Sona lost a lot of her damage during the Sona Taric days, and it really isn't a super viable damage carry anymore, whereas Soraka just wants to build all that utility, and, you know, Sona definitely has the opportunity to do that, but he is opting into this more damage-focused style, which I think is a mistake.
and that's where the ganks we were talking about before came to be. Maya does not care about a silence heal. Sona just presses R, and Soraka's dead. Oof.
Absolutely, and it's a good thing that Maya actually picked up that kill, because it's going to be really important that he has enough gold and damage to be able to just run down the people that he's supposed to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Maya more represents the consistent damage on VAH's side rather than, oh my god, what a dive. That was manly as heck. Theatrics props.
Yeah, that was close, and you know, I wouldn't have gone for that because there's always that alt turnaround damage that, you know, can just pop somebody and get a little bit too low.
And if you just notice, there were about 3 seconds from stopwatch being activated. Maya's
that's
staying
true
pretty
too.
long. Ulting in. Getting the ult from Senna.
But also the follow-up.
Oh my god, he's unstoppable, just like that CC. Maya going in on Bear Jr. Bear Jr. has no escapes. Just has to rely on
but he gets Vigar gets the ult.
Oh my god.
And the boy gets cancels the auto twice.
Ooh, this mid game for Bachelor Party is looking a little bit sketchy. Aphelios damage, man, that is crazy. Homesy Chocobo staying in, getting W'd, getting Q'd, but saying, I don't really care. I'm just a farm minions. Yeah, it was a strong early game lead for Bachelor Party, but they are having a hard time maintaining it in this mid game. With now the gold, let's see here. Looking like it's a 2k lead for VAH. VAH is taking advantage of that, taking an Ocean Dragon. Gonna be pretty big here. As far as keeping
I also want to
alive.
point out that Vigar already has 72 stacks and over 135 AP.
Yeah, and just look, I mean, if VAH wins this game, I'm gonna say it. Jungle difference. Look at the gold difference between junglers right now. It's 1.2k.
That is a huge lead for Maya, and he's definitely flexing it around, and he knew that he would get it with that mid game play. Even though he was 2v1, he knew that if he just got that shield from OP, that it would be free, because he knows he has the damage, and his ultimate is just too strong.
He's translated his lead already to huge map pressure, just going mid and saying, you know what, Theatrics, Bear Jr., I don't care about either of you. I'm going to 1v2 and just murk both of you and blow your flashes.
And it's also just like a really good item that he's decided to slot into there with the Executioner's Calling, because the only thing that's going to really ruin his day is some of these Soraka heals. If they just are able to heal him up before he ends up getting these kills, it's going to make his life a lot more difficult.
Well, yeah, and in this game when you're this far ahead, although the AD is inefficient on the item, it only provides 15, you're facing a Soraka, you're facing a Katarina, you're facing a Aphelios, you're facing a Rakan. All of those champions have significant heals, and as well as Jarvan, just healing off of Smite. There's a lot of heals going on the
As
side
well
of
as it is
Bachelor
Conqueror Jarvan as well, so there's healing on every single member of these champions, as well as Soraka just innately heals every single champion that she decides to go against or
Exactly.
go with.
So that's a smart pick.
It's like Chocobo's going for the all-in here, but the speed buff proves to be too much out of frontline. She's able to run away. But
I didn't think
really
it would result in anything. Chocobo just.
It is
slapping.
the wet noodle fight of today. It's just 2 supports instead of tanks.
See, here's the thing. Riot Games tried to nerf Senna by saying, "Well, minions that you get, you don't actually."
Oh,
stack
but
them."
the
Oh my God,
root
the
lands
root
and
hit.
it's forcing out the stun. But
It was a big bait. Maya's up top. It's over for him. It's over for Chocobo. The flash Q.
Flash is just
Oh my
steal
God.
the kill from his jungler. That is some BM and completely unnecessary.
Well,
This
here's what it
is
did
not
for
gonna
him
be
though.
serious.
That evened the gold lead exactly top lane. That's really good. That means that these lanes you don't have to camp top lane. You can spread that out bot. But bot lane, Bachelor Party says this looks pretty clean. I might want to dive this. But a
So
strong
TP
TP.
coming out is really gonna make him think twice, and I don't think they can get it anymore. Oh, if that would have landed.
Looks like, oh my
Oh,
God!
but the
actual
flash over,
huge
that's huge.
ultimate.
Katarina's getting a nice full channel on her ultimate. Just
Yeah.
obliterates the bot lane.
Goodbye bot lane. They got a little too big for their britches there, thinking it was just Katarina. You gotta know, it's 14 minutes in, it's time to 4-man bot. Frontline's staying a little lead. I think this is not gonna go well, and I was right. Frontline's just gone. And it looks like first tower
It's
going
a
over
little
to
bit of
Bachelor
a
Party.
lack of optimization there for sure. Could have stepped up to get the faster autos from his shuriken.
A strong showing though from Bachelor Party, evening up the gold lead. Now with only a 500 gold difference.
Definitely a back and forth game, keeping up with the
Yeah.
kills per minute. I want to see us back to a state in which we're doubling it. Let's go.
Right. I think. So at this point in the game, it's all evened up. Who are you giving the advantage
Yeah,
to?
and Katarina has her first item, which is a huge power spike, and same with Vigar, and Vigar is gonna just slow people and press R, and they're gonna die. It's gonna be hilarious.
Which team do you think has the overall edge? Who wanted
I think
to?
honestly, I think shoot, what was their team name? Lugo's team.
Lugo's team? Va?
Yeah, Va. I think Va has the edge, and I'll tell you why. I'm telling you right now, when Vigar and his slow field, like his active, start stealing a quarter of people's health, it's gonna feel really bad. And that's the state we're getting to, because Vigar, these kind of Fiesta type games, where Vigar is able to, get poke off, even if they don't land in kills, or, picks up a couple early kills without, really much answer, or, is allowed to be, 14 farm up, really turns into a nightmare, and is just kind of runs around and kills everybody.
Checking in on Vigar stacks, he is just cresting 100, I believe, really soon here. And, we're not
looks like Bear's getting caught out here. He might have to force a flash, but looks like Theatrix, is on the wrong side of the map here. Decided to go in, but Lugo picking up another kill, and that's exactly who you want to see it on.
Yeah, and Theatrix, although there was some good damage there and using the ultimate and everything, it's not gonna matter. You just see OP just press Q one time and his whole goes back full health. I mean, it's ridiculous. That's so much healing. Not seeing the itemization on the side of Bachelor Party that we're already seeing on Bob to counter this healing. An ultimate coming down from Lugo.
There's a little bit of an early ultimate. He had almost no damage down, and I think he was probably thinking there was going to be some additional follow-up coming up from his team, and just was hoping that the timing of the ultimate would be there for the execute.
Well, and Lugo kind of won with the low mana, getting ulted by Greg and then rooted.
It's a solid flash to get out there from. But the baby cage coming in. See if he didn't waste his ult. That is a dead Shaboy.
Oh my god, that was such a big brain.
Oh my god, and they're just running away with it from the overextended Bear Jr. And see, that is that baby cage stopping Shaboy in his tracks. Bear Jr. gets greedy and tries to follow up, and he has the Zonias and the heals and the shields coming out from OB, and just a huge ultimate coming out of Leona as well to make sure that his mid laner stays alive, and they pick up a 3 for nothing, putting them solidly 2K.
They're actually getting Rift Herald at this very moment, and they're pressuring mid tower against Soraka. I mean,
and bot tower.
They're making sure that nothing goes to waste. Using every part of
Honestly, it's a little bit greedy. It's a little bit greedy because it looks like they may be only getting one tower, and that's bot as well as Rift Herald. It's not the end of the world, but I would have personally prioritized mid tower, and they could have maybe even rotated as a team then to top lane or bot lane afterwards and secured it.
They also have the advantage
the
top.
Rift.
You can see the top wave is pushing in. BP is just like bleeding minions right now a little bit. And ultimate comes down to Beatrix, a flash blown by OP. Not a lot happening this fight, just one flash blown for the ADC, which means they're not going to have it next fight. Also, you can see the ADC itemized, again, anti-healing, which is going to be a big theme, I think, from VAH. I bet they.
And that's also what we're gonna eventually see here as the game progresses. Though, see, look at that, look at that. That is a huge amount of healing, but that active, he missed his W, but the active item was able to do a quarter of the support's health.
In my mind,
it would have put him in death range if it weren't for Soraka.
Imagine if he was itemizing. I guess itemizing the Hourglass is going to be pretty good against the cat here, because she's.
I think it's going to be good against their entire team, because both Vigar and OP do suffer from a little bit of immobility, and when they don't have their but they're starting on a ward here.
What a read! No, that was a straight up read. They read that they were in there, but it doesn't matter because one of these teams is stronger than the other.
Exactly, and Maya is just running.
One of these junglers doesn't give a shit. He got
and
shut
ends
down
up being
by
a 2 for 2 when it could have been much worse with such a strong read coming out of Beatrix.
Yeah, I don't think they were on a ward. They might have gotten caught out.
It may have been this ward here that we see behind the wall here, and they could have walked over it, and they could have just like hard predicted that they're sitting in there.
They also
have a ward
in
the river, and they would have seen them come out of that brush.
Yeah, that easily could have been the case. And I bet that's what it was. It's just a little bit of not unorthodox vision, but good vision coverage and game out there.
And now it seems kind of greedy, but I don't want to see the Spooky Ghost coming out of Lugo next item, because he decided to opt for the safety build and get that Zhonya's, which I think is smart, but I think he really needs to get a Rabadon's next in order to push this tempo of this game and start actually just blowing up people.
Nah, fam. Merlanomicon. That's what I want to see.
You already have 2 people with AoE physical damage abilities that are going to put down the anti-healing against them, and I think they need just the straight up burst to blow up people before the healing comes out anyway.
I don't know. I think the Morello gives good stats. It's not
it does, but I'm telling you, once he gets the Rabadons, the champion feels just so much better and will be able to just kill the entire enemy. But that's a good pickup coming out of the slow field in the queue. Well played from Lugo.
Beatrix following up on Frontlash here. Frontlash trying to use his speed, but gets slowed down by the smite.
The heals
Frontlash just slamming his head on his keyboard right now, trying to get away.
Nice dodge. Nice dodge.
Beatrix is out of mana. Beatrix is out of mana. This is it. He's getting kited out.
Frontlash, you should have read that. He had no mana. But OP picks up the snipe. Well played.
Excellent snipe. Not chaosing at all. Clumsy Choco was stuck in the cage, getting slowed down, having to flash it out. Good job. I think VAH's doing a really, really good job on prioritizing.
Now he's just stuck in the baby cage again. And boom!
Wow.
Another kill.
I think that was the ultimate this time from Lugo.
Yep.
Because I heard the laugh. That's the only tell for me. That champion just has no big animations. Dragon picked up round 3 dragons.
But lots of big ass damage.
Yeah, lots of damage. Yeah, it looks like the simplicity of their comp is really paying off as they're able to make these sort of map movements that involve a lot more just team play, CC, continuing to pick out targets that are just moving up a little too far.
Yeah. And you nailed it right on the head there. I think it's just those individual pick power I was talking about earlier, where they don't have to really commit a whole lot to pick up these individual picks, whereas You know, look how much. That's 2 ultimates just to get from
Yeah,
Nash.
that's a huge commitment just for a top lane. And top lane.
And they may get
doesn't
Rafal
matter.
here too, but that's more of a product of him just being out of position than
Right,
it is
he's just too deep.
anything else.
I really don't think, like, they have to go for Baron off that, right? Are they all going to
Absolutely,
rotate
with how much they committed, they have to go for Baron. But
Maya's
you know,
still
Lugo's
up.
going to be able to do a lot of poke damage, and Maya does have the ability to just run through them and potentially get that smite and take advantage of that 2-level lead he has, as well as his execute coming out of the
He's
Z.
still up. He can't be CC. He has flash. He can just run in. They're not doing it.
They have no vision, and the TP is coming out right now, though, so they actually may just look to turn this completely on set. And it's not even down, and that is a dead Soraka. That is a huge pick from Lugo. I think this is just going to turn completely on its head. I mean,
Yeah,
look at this. Oh, and that's a huge baby cage, too, coming out, picking out 2. And Greg 7 is dead. And the same. Oh, but the missed ult, the baby cage almost caught him again. And I think Bear's dead, and this is now just going to be a Baron for the enemy team.
No, they have to chase this. This is more important. Yeah. Okay, they got all 5, and it's Baron time. That's just it was an okay call for the Baron. I think it probably would have been better to bait there, just because you know you're going to be worried about this. Your team.
But death timers were clearly not long enough either, and they don't have the Baron damage just yet, because that's what ended up being it. It wasn't even Maya trying to sneak in and they just won like a 3v5. Everybody was involved in that fight. You know, Sona was able to TP behind, OP was able to, you know, walk around, or Rafal was able to get there because the fight just lasted long enough. And at the end of the day, they just want a straight up 5v5 that, you know, didn't need to happen. I think they probably could have just taken mid pressure and tried to snowball from there.
And I think where their problem was look at the ultimates that were still available on each team.
That's true too. Like we were talking about earlier, the amount of commitment they made just to pick up the top laner, which ended up being in the fight anyway, was pretty large. They didn't have their ultimates that they needed in order to pick off some of these more immobile champions.
Right.
Lugo making the rookie mistake, getting another slow. Nah, man, get the Rabadons. If I don't see a Rabadon's next item at this point, he's hard trolling. He needs to be able to press W at least 5 times a second. And that's only one, that's 3 ultimates again for one person. And Lugo's still alive and just can potentially kill everybody if he kites it out properly. But it looks like they've decided to just let Olaf run it down top, which is a little bit questionable to me, because I think they're just sacrificing a significant amount here when Olaf could have probably rotated down, and they could have cleaned up this fight, especially if they decided to chase up into the jungle. But Olaf maybe gets 2 towers here with the Baron, so it's just kind of like a decision of which resources you like better.
Yeah, I mean, getting these towers, this is going really well for VAH. They've pressed their advantage.
But Maya almost gonna get the kill. But unfortunately, Soraka is too good and healed him up.
He almost got them all through like the flash.
Oh, nope, put the front lash. Picking up the kill.
Not too bad, not too bad.
Like I said, just a lot of damage coming out of the Super Soaker.
Right.
Not meant to be a crazy damage item, but because he just gets so much AP, like the little scaling that it does have really starts to come in, and he just does a lot of damage.
Right, and he just gets harder and harder to deal with. These slows, I mean, they facilitate, they just enable
his entire kit.
Right.
Yeah, his entire kit just becomes so much easier to work around, and this is definitely why I think he's one of the best mid laners to use this new like glacial augment build that has been, you know, showing up for the past season and a half.
He's a pretty good player too. I tell you what.
Oh, and that's almost super big brain, and really well read by Theatrix to step back against there, knowing that he was in danger. Theatrix is just going to get blown up here as he goes in and just is instantly deleted as it looks like Infernal Soul is going towards blue side, which is just terrible news, because the amount of damage Vigar is going to be doing now is absurd. He's got what is it? How much percentage is it? 4% each? Yeah, it's 4% each. So that's an additional 12% AD and AP on Veigar, and plus the actual additional Luden's proc that he has. He's sitting on 671 AP right now. And you know, that is just an absurd amount of damage that's gonna be popping out, and he can probably kill people with just a Q and a W at this point.
So much AP. I mean, and the fact is that.
Oh, and he jumps into the slow, and there's the AOE coming out, and it falls stuck under tower, but that is just a ton of damage coming out from the bot lane as well as Veigar. Holy, that was just a W. He was silencing the rest of that combo.
Dare I say that this
Front last picking up the triple. Looks like he's trying to prove me wrong that Sona can still carry fights with their damage.
Oh, well played from both teams. I think very back and forth, but you gotta give it to VAH. They had a really strong execution of this high CC comp, and overall, this game for me.
This is game one, Hoagie. Yeah.
Maie really brought it home for VAH.
Yeah, Maie definitely carried through that mid game or that early game and mid game, but really well played also from Lugo to safely pick up those stacks and just dish out the damage where he needed to and really just kill a ton of people.
Very true. I think just overall, as far as game impact goes, Maie was able to get his team, just drag them tooth and nail through that early game.
And Maie had the most damage in the game still too.
After all that, wow. Yeah, so looking at the damage charts, Veigar and Maie are basically tied, which is pretty insane for a tank boy, a melee tank boy like Olaf. And then following up is Aphelios on the side of BP. Then obviously we see Senna and Sona, and then the rest of BP kind of coming in there. So great job from both teams. I think this went really well. Whoa, I'm just getting like infinite streaming. Big brain Galaxy infinite streaming.
Crazy.
Oh! No. Okay, we'll check in with chat here. If someone wants to be able to put in the MVP vote for me, I don't know how to do it. So someone just throw that in.
Straw poll?
Yeah, I think it's a straw poll. Throw in the MVP vote.
Wait.
I'll tell you which one's real.
Strawpoll.com.
Hey, Nishard, thank you for the sub.
MVP, choose answer. Tell me their team names or their player names, please. So it's Lugo. How do you spell Maie?
Just M-A-H-Y-A-Y.
Now we're doing it differently.
OP. I don't want to add any accounts to email.
It's OP, Maie, then top lane, front lash?
Front lash and Rafal.
And then Rafal. Right. Create poll. Share this poll. Copy link.
Beautiful. Thank you, Waffle Raff, subscribing at tier 1. I appreciate it
Boom.
a lot, dude. Thanks for showing up, watching the game. I think this was a really great game, honestly. PMA LCS.
Lots of fun to watch. Definitely some fireworks in the first 15 minutes, and some solid play coming out of both teams for sure.
Right. So I'm gonna figure out how to put a score over my overlay, and I think we'll take a streaming break and come back with the results of that straw poll. So thank you, everyone.